All right, welcome to Typology Gifts again. I'm Dan, and today we are speaking to Vedant. Welcome to the channel.
Hello. Thanks for having me.
For those
Pretty
who,
excited.
good, me too. Um, so for the benefit of those who have not seen the channel yet, what I do is I type people for free. I put the videos of the typing up, and then other people can watch it, and it's for sort of all of our collective viewing enjoyment and analysis. And I do a little thing where I have all the personality types up and eliminate them as I have any level of confidence in doing that. And then you can go back and rewatch the video and see what my thought process was along the way. And I also like to say that I'm trying not to be too dogmatic at the end. To be more of an attempt to tell you what kind of personality I'm observing, and then you can then we'll talk about what type or types you've thought you were, and then we can kind of talk about that and try to understand why it might have all happened that way. So
Sounds good.
cool. So it'll be a real collaborative kind of experience then more than yeah. Have you
Great.
seen have you seen any of the videos before this channel?
I have, yeah, I've seen a couple. I've seen maybe like one or two,
Okay.
like one full like whole hour and a half,
hmm
and then another one I just kind of skipped around, but just was curious about your like your method and stuff.
hmm if it could be
Yeah.
said that I have a method. I
Well,
have
it was just I was curious. It's definitely
yeah.
interesting.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. So let's talk about you. Let me ask you
Okay.
some questions about you. Um, One of the first questions I always like to ask people because it just tells you so much, tells me so much information right off the bat, is asking whether somebody sees themselves as more proactive or reactive type of person, or where do you fall, where do you
Okay.
think you fall, kind of on that spectrum. So
Interesting.
feel free to tell me anything you can about that.
So I think maybe in like some situations I'm more reactive. Um, in others, I'm more proactive. I mean, it's hard. Maybe an example would be useful, just
hmm
so I can give you a good answer.
Sure.
Um, so, like with school, I would say um, I'm like more proactive. I'm not super proactive. Like I don't get my work done, 2 weeks ahead of schedule.
hmm
Um, but I have like like I'm usually on time with my assignment for like things like getting ready, chores. I'm pretty like I'm not proactive at all, you know.
hmm
Um, but I don't know. Does that kind of answer your question?
Yeah,
Maybe if you can put me in a situation, I can answer it.
no, it's fine. Well, let me see if I can come up with some elaboration on that. Um, so you mentioned you don't if you have something due in 2 weeks, you won't have it done early or something like that. Do you of that 2 week period of time? Well, I mean, it's this is a hard one because in college, in school, you're kind of learning how to uh, methodically get things done, which is something you don't really have to
Yeah,
do as much of as a kid. And then it's like that's that whole adulting thing. So I don't really want to skew that too much in the realm of
okay,
personality because I know myself like that's it's been an evolution for me. So it'd be hard for me to
yeah,
to necessarily look at somebody and say, "Oh, you're definitively this kind of personality because of that." Um,
sure.
but let me ask you, when I guess when I think about like reactivity to proactivity, um, when you're navigating life, I guess. So this is like everything from you know what you decide to eat to how you interact with other people to
Sure.
um, activities that you do and things like that. Um, do you prefer to like how much interfacing with the world do you like to do versus um, kind of contemplating what's going on?
Okay, that definitely clarified it a lot. So, um, I do like to, I guess, as you said, like interface with the world more. So, um, like I don't spend a lot of time thinking about, let's say, like, what I want to wear, what I want to eat.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's just sort of like off of a whim, I would say, maybe. So,
Mm-hmm.
like, whatever I'm feeling, like I want to eat, whatever I feel like I want to maybe do in the moment,
Mm-hmm.
unless I have like a schedule already for that
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
day. Um, so like in my free time, it's usually pretty like whatever I'm feeling like I want to do, I'll do it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really set like a task for myself. You know.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um,
So
so
so if you
sorry,
have
one sec, Dan.
oh yeah, no worries.
One sec. Okay. So my dad walked in.
No worries, no worries.
Go ahead.
No,
Go
no,
ahead.
Dad, I'm getting my personality typed. And he's like, "Yes, son, right, sure you are." Um, so so how long how long do you like to be a kind of alone to be collecting your own thoughts in a stretch of time where it starts to become okay, I need to be around other people again.
So like, how long can I be alone for?
How long before it starts to become uncomfortable, I guess?
Okay. Um, so maybe like I don't mind being alone.
Mhm.
Uh, don't get me wrong, I love being around people. I love like going out and stuff, but at the same time, I do like being alone.
Mhm.
So I would say a good cap for me though is maybe like a couple days. Like I can go maybe like 2 or 3 days without really talking to anybody.
Mhm.
Like that means like no calling anybody and not really interacting with many people
Mhm.
for like 2 days, and I would just feel like really bored. I'd probably have to go out and like, or at least like call someone up, like, hey, how's it going?
Okay.
You know,
Mhm.
yeah,
So,
like a long weekend, I'd say.
okay. Okay.
Yeah,
So if given, let's just say that everything is pretty relaxed in your life, everything's going fine. There's no pressing deadlines or pressure or anything
yeah.
like that. Um, will you tend to gravitate towards wanting to keep some company, or will you gravitate towards doing your own kind of activities? And if the answer is keeping company, is it is it just an ongoing thing, or is it a kind of sporadic thing?
That's a great question. Maybe in like if I got nothing, if I'm just chilling, if I'm hanging out
Hmm.
and nothing stressful in life, like, and I've been in this situation a couple of times, so I'd say maybe like for half of the day I'll like do my own thing. I really like in the mornings, for example, I'll
Hmm.
like do my own thing. I'll like go to the park. I'll
Hmm.
get breakfast by myself, stuff like that.
Hmm.
But, like around nighttime, I want to. It is sporadic. It's not very like unless it's like my girlfriend or something.
Hmm.
Like if it's just I'm going out to see people, then it's pretty sporadic. Like I'll call someone up and say, "Hey, are you free in an hour? Are you free like to do something in an hour?" Um, but yeah,
Okay.
I hope that answers your question.
It does. It does.
Okay.
Let's say that an acquaintance, like somebody who you only kind of know, shows up at your house and wants to hang out. Now, obviously, pandemic, right? Like things are different,
Yeah.
but let's just assume that you knew that they had quarantined and you had as well,
Sure.
so you knew everything was fine. Um, but you didn't get any notice whatsoever. They just sort of showed up. So
Okay.
how comfortable or uncomfortable are you in that situation?
This actually happened. This happened last night. Like, I'm not
Okay,
even kidding. This happened last night.
good, good timing.
Where like a friend of mine just popped in to say hi,
Hmm.
and Well, I guess it was different because I was pretty close friends with the guy,
Oh,
so
okay.
that was great. But if it was an acquaintance, I think I would still be excited. I would be kind of happy, like, wow, this person went out of the way to just come by.
Uh-huh.
Again, we don't know each other. That's pretty cool.
Mhm. Mhm.
And so it would be nice. I mean, I'd be pretty happy to see them,
Mhm. Mhm.
um, as long as we're friendly.
Right.
Uh, so I think it would be fine. I think it'd be cool.
Okay. And
Yeah.
is there any kind of situation where you're making plans, but then if something gets disrupted in those plans, it upsets you? Or if you've already set some plans and something disrupts it, do you tend to just find that it's pretty easy to roll with it?
Yeah. I mean, I guess it depends. Like, if I have plans with someone and they flake,
Mhm.
that sucks. But it's not like the end of the world.
Mhm.
But let's say like I have plans to hang out with someone
Mhm.
and like we're like, hey, let's go to dinner at, I don't know, this restaurant, and the restaurant's closed. I
Mhm.
would be fine with it. Like it would be pretty easy to roll the punches and be like, okay, we
Mhm.
can go somewhere else.
Mhm.
You
Mhm.
know? Yeah.
Okay. Okay. And do the people in your life think that you're really talkative, or do they think you're really quiet, or do they say anything about you like that, or you just kind of
Yeah, I'd say so. I'd say, I mean, talk like excessively talkative. Nah, I don't get that too much.
hmm
But like, yeah, I definitely like to talk to people.
hmm
To people. Like I would get in trouble a lot in elementary school for stuff
Oh,
like
really?
that. You know? Yeah, like talking to my friends too much.
Uh-huh, uh-huh. And it was
You
just
know?
it was just socializing kind of stuff, like just
Yeah, like goofing off, socializing, yeah,
hmm
stuff like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you think that you have an easier time getting along with people than other people do?
Um, yeah, I'd say so. I'd say so. Yeah. I
Why do
want
you
to get
think that
along
is?
with people. Like it's nice. It's nice if I can get along with someone,
hmm
just through conversation.
hmm
Like it's usually not like painful to try that for me. Like to just try to have a conversation with someone.
hmm What do you
Yeah.
do? What do you do if it? What's the kind of situation where it is painful to have a conversation?
I mean, if the person, like if the person's kind of being like rude or
hmm
so, I guess there are like three types of situations. Like one, if if we're definitely have some chemistry, we're just talking,
hmm
having a good time. Another one is like if they're not really interested in having a conversation. In that situation, I would just kind of back off. But if they were the third situation, if they were being like rude or saying like get out of my face or something,
hmm hmm
or like something like that. Um, like that's when I would just kind of walk away, probably. Like,
hmm
all
hmm
right, fine, or maybe just try to like cool it down, like
hmm
cool down the situation. You know,
Are you the type that tries to diffuse social tension?
I would not all the time, not all
No.
the time. But if it's with me, like if someone's coming at me, I'll try
hmm
to calm it down.
hmm
See if we can just like have a conversation. And if it's like someone's like if it's between like two of my friends, I'll try to cool down that situation.
hmm
But if it's like if I'm in a group setting and I don't really know that many people, I won't intervene. You know,
hmm hmm Is that
yeah.
what's the threshold where you will intervene?
I would say like if it's with me, like my friend, my family,
hmm
um, or it's a good question because like in certain situations, I imagine myself being like, hey, like let's calm down here.
Uh-huh.
Like for example, if someone was like if I was at Dunkin' Donuts and the guy in front of me was like being excessively mean, I just try to be like, hey man, like it's okay, it's gonna be fine.
Uh-huh.
Um, but in reality, I don't know if I do that often.
hmm So
So
And what is it that that's holding you back from intervening?
Just like, I don't know, I just don't feel like it's my place, or like it's not
Hmm.
like, I mean, I don't want to say it's like it's not my problem because it's kind of messed up, but like
Uh-huh.
sometimes I just feel like it's not worth me getting involved in this.
Hmm.
I'm just gonna see how this plays out.
Hmm.
You know,
Okay.
yeah.
Uh, and so let's see here. I've got a number of different things I'm thinking about at the same time right now. So let me just see if I can like I'm just gonna update my little chart here for a second. So I'm gonna be quiet. I'm
Okay.
gonna be quiet for a little bit.
All right, no problem.
Um, you'll get to rewatch the video afterwards and see what I was doing, what I'm doing here. Um,
All right.
all right. Um, how much of an individualist do you consider yourself?
Can you maybe like expand on that a little bit?
Sure. I suppose on one side of the spectrum you would have conformists, and then on the other side you would have nonconformists.
Okay, gotcha,
Uh,
gotcha.
and that doesn't
Like, okay,
necessarily mean doing like illegal things, but it just means some people see it as, you know, go with the flow kind of thing, and the other kinds of people
right.
sort of like to swim their own path. So where do you fall on that spectrum?
Um, it's a good question. Like I do like to like I would consider myself kind of like lax, pretty relaxed.
Mhm.
So in some situations, like I'll go with whatever's happening,
Mhm.
but at the same time, I think like I'm pretty. I would say I'm pretty individualistic. Like I mean, I have my own. Uh, like I have my own unique likes, which I think are pretty different than some of the people around me.
Mhm.
Like my own unique hobbies, and like maybe even like the way that I think about some things.
Mhm.
But I don't know if that makes me an individualist. You know. Um,
What do
yeah.
you
I'm sorry. I don't know.
what do you think of individualists?
Like, well, when I think of an individualist, I think of like someone who's pretty original,
Mhm.
um, and maybe someone who, yeah, that's kind of the thing that comes to mind. Like they're pretty unique, or they're like they have qualities about them that not everybody that I know has. It's like maybe something that's not super common around the people that I know.
Mhm.
You know,
And
um,
do you think that that uniqueness is something to be admired?
yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
Why would you say that?
Just because like I think like being unique or having some unique quality probably gives you an edge in some situations. Like
Mhm.
it makes you kind of stand out. Like it's nice that they can be different. Because like not to get so essential, but like you only live once.
Mhm.
It's nice to have these cool attributes about yourself that it's like a good story sometimes to
Mhm.
talk about. Yeah.
Are you a good storyteller?
Maybe I think so. Yeah, I think so. Maybe.
Maybe. What what
I'm good. Actually, yeah, I would say so. Like, if I gotta lie about something, if I gotta sneak out of get out of a situation, I can probably do it.
Okay. Um,
Yeah.
when it comes to communication, do you prefer things to be improvisational, or do you like to? Yeah, you do. You're nodding. So,
No, no. What was the second option you were gonna say?
I mean, I don't know, sort of more rigid or structured, I guess. I mean, like, um,
Okay.
I guess what I mean by that is, some people probably like to, their conversation is more like a bolt of lightning that just kind of goes, along the path
Mhm.
of least resistance, kind of, and then
Yeah.
other people are more, I guess, rigid in there. This is a hard one because I think I can see how even very different types will. Some people are very flexible outwardly and with their thoughts and ideas, and other people are very flexible inwardly, with their thoughts and
Okay.
ideas. And I think most people actually are probably one or the two of those. So, where do you think? Do you think that you're more flexible with your thoughts and ideas, in the outward kind of conversational sense, or in the inward ideational kind of sense?
Um. Sorry. Can you just repeat that one more
Would you like a nice, more a longer, more complicated question? Um,
time?
Part of the my web camera is distracting me because it's like shaking so much for some reason.
It's wobbling. Yeah,
I
the
know.
lava.
Well, I'm shaking my leg, but it's like normally it doesn't cause it to.
Okay.
It normally doesn't cause it to shake, but it's like making it shake right now. Anyways, I guess what I was trying to get to is, I should think of a simpler way to ask it. Um, well, I'm gonna ask a different question because I wish I could
Okay.
formulate that question in a concise way, but for some reason my brain doesn't want to right now. So
All right. No problem.
what's a let me ask you this, and this will get me some similar information. Um, what is a belief that you hold strongly?
Mm, great question. A belief that I hold strongly. I got to think about this. Sorry.
Yeah, no worries, no worries.
Got to think about this. Um. I think like like okay. I mean, this is kind of what I'm thinking now is true about myself. So,
Hmm.
like, one thing that I believe in a lot is that like there's always another way to do something. Like, there's always another way to do. Like if you want to learn about a topic like computer science, like you can either go to school or you can do this other thing. Like you can teach yourself. Like if you
Hmm.
want to live somewhere, you can either like I don't know. There's plenty of ways to do plenty of things.
Hmm. Hmm.
Um, does that sort of make sense?
Yes, yes.
There's never like one straight path, really.
Right, right, right. Do you think that,
Yeah.
how good are you with, um like, using your body for things? So this could be anything from like sports to tools to building to, music, anything that
Okay.
requires some level of, um, physicality, I guess. Where do you fall on that, I guess, spectrum of, from people who don't want to have anything to do with the physical world and people who are just completely in it?
Okay. Okay. I gotcha. I love building stuff. Like
Hmm.
when I was a kid, I used to play with like a lot of electronics. So I mean, I love doing that. I wouldn't say I'm great at it anymore because I haven't done it in a while, but
Hmm.
it's a good time. I'm not great at sports.
Mhm.
Not the best at sports.
Mhm.
I just recently picked up tennis, and it's really fun, but I suck. Um, and like I play guitar,
Mhm.
but like I was never really good at like reading the sheet music and like memorizing songs. So like
Mhm.
sometimes like I'll just like play, just like make up stuff, and that's
Mhm.
really fun for me. Like
Mhm.
that's always a good time. I think like I'm okay at that. Like I'm pretty okay at something like that. But
Mhm. Mhm.
yeah, yeah. Is like coding a thing? Is it a
Yeah.
physical thing?
Sure. Why not? Or
Yeah,
you're a
I
programmer?
love programming.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I love it. So I'd
Well,
say that's maybe something.
so that's interesting, and I can ask you some questions around that because I think
Okay.
people with different personality types solve problems differently, when
Okay. Cool.
especially programming and things like that. Um,
Sure.
so when you're programming, um, how have you treated learning programming?
So I used to just like do a bunch of pet projects. That's like kind of how I started, just doing some pet projects, like little websites and stuff.
Hmm.
And then I mean, I've taken CS courses, and that's been helpful. But like most of the learning, I think, is most of like my real learning has come from like just making projects, like making cool stuff for
Hmm.
myself.
Hmm.
And then also like I guess I have taken some useful classes at school, like a handful of useful classes, which have been helpful to me.
Hmm.
But yeah, the biggest thing is like just making, learn by doing.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah.
And how frequently do you finish the projects that you start?
Uh, it's a great question. I mean, there's always this running joke between me and my friends that we always have like five five projects that we're always working on because
Hmm.
it's hard to finish. But like,
Hmm.
um, if it's a small project, I'll finish it in like I'll finish it, no problem.
Hmm.
Well, it might be a problem, but I'll finish it. That's for sure.
Uh-huh.
But if it's a big project, like I have like 3 or 4 big projects that I want to work on, but just never, I just can never finish it. Um, like I just made something last night that
Hmm.
like I did it throughout the day, so I launched that last night. But other stuff, it's definitely difficult for me to be consistent about how frequently I work on it. You know,
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
so like
Yeah.
sometimes I'll think of the idea and like maybe I'll write down like how to maybe I'll think like okay this is what I want to do,
Hmm.
but like 60% of the time it never gets done.
Why why do you think it doesn't get done?
uh, it's like a combination between like me being lazy and like I just lose interest sometimes in the
Hmm.
project.
Hmm.
Like it's cool for a second, it's really cool,
Hmm.
and like it seems like it could be a fun thing to make, but then it's just too much sometimes. It's just like it's not worth my time.
Got it. Got it. Got it.
Yeah.
So you can you're starting to get a sense for how long certain things are going to take, and then you're starting to realize, oh, this is gonna be a
Yeah,
lot longer of a
pretty,
thing than I
pretty
thought
much.
it was gonna be. Okay.
Yeah, pretty much. And also like after some time the idea is not as attractive to me anymore. So
Hmm.
it's just like I'm not really
Is an idea attractive because it has certain qualities, like it being mysterious, or some having some kind of unknown component to it, or what is it that makes an idea interesting to you?
so that's a really good question. I haven't thought about that. Um like usefulness I think is a big one. Like
Hmm.
who will use it, how many people will use it, like
Hmm.
will it be cool? And also just like sometimes I just pick a project because I think it look cool.
Hmm.
Like it's like a nice good looking way to do something
Hmm.
that's already been done, let's say. Like that's fun for me.
Hmm.
Like I can't tell you how many times I made like a calendar app just because
Hmm.
like I wanted to look cool.
Uh-huh, uh-huh.
Um, so yeah, but at the end of the day, it has to be useful. Like that.
Hmm.
That's That's like the minimum criteria. It's like it has to do something that's useful.
How do you know if something is useful?
Well, with the projects that I make, it's usually it's usually useful to me or like my friends.
Hmm.
So like I'll either make something for myself or make something for like one of my friends and be like, hey, I made this because it could be useful to you,
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
or like my family too. Like I'll build stuff for my family. So maybe a good example of this would be like my friend wanted to read some book, but it was only available online.
Hmm.
So like I made him some programs so that he can download books on his
Hmm.
Kindle,
Hmm. Hmm.
and that was really rewarding for me. That was
Nice.
really cool.
Nice.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
So, am I right in this that you're more likely to drop an idea because you lost interest in it than because you got distracted by something else?
yeah, definitely. Like if it's a cool project, if it's like, damn, this is gonna be fun to make,
Hmm.
I'll ignore pretty much everything else. Like
Okay.
I won't do schoolwork. I'll
Hmm.
just code probably, like just work on this one thing.
Hmm. Hmm.
You know?
Yeah, yeah, okay. That makes sense. All right, we're about
Yeah.
at the halfway mark here, so
Okay.
I think I'm gonna stop the video. We're gonna go to part B. I'm gonna take a little break, refresh my bourbon, think about everything we've talked about,
Okay.
and then I think
All right.
towards the beginning of part B, I think I'll tell you what type I think you might be, and then we can
Okay.
start to talk about what that means, or I'll ask you what type you think you are. So
Okay.
join us in part B, friends. It's gonna be interesting. Everyone loves part B.
All right. I've seen that. I've noticed that Part
Our
B gets more views.
part B always gets more views, so they want to see how
I
it,
don't. I
they want
don't
to see
know
the end.
why that makes any sense.
Well, they want to see
Like,
they
but
want to see
you
what
know.
my guess was, so
Okay.
they want to
True.
jump.
True. True.
They don't want to go through the effort.
Well, that's interesting because, in my opinion, right, Part A is cool because like you can see your brain working, and
Yeah,
then Part B is just this is it.
let's
This is the
talk about
result.
it. Right.
You know.
Yeah, and it's the context you need kind of going into part B. So I think
Exactly. Exactly.
part A is there for the diehards, I think. So
Gotcha. Gotcha.
all right, well we'll see you
I
in
noticed
part
it
B.
because.
What were you gonna say? You
All
noticed
right.
what?
All right. Yeah, I noticed that like Part B has like almost double the views sometimes as
Yeah,
Part A.
yeah.
It's like that's wild. That's wild.
That's when it picks up, I
Um,
guess.
but yeah.
I got my second bourbon in me. That's why everybody's like, yeah. All right.
That's true. That's true.
All right. I'll see you on the other side.
All right.